Anglo-American gives mine workers an ultimatum, and Zuma calls for dialogues in Mali as the only solution. With the latest news updates, I'm Hasina Gori. Anglo-American Platinum Mine Management in Rustenburg in the northwest says the striking workers' wage demands are totally unreasonable. Striking workers could face dismissal. The mine has given the workers an ultimatum to end the strike and return to work this morning or face dismissal. Workers have been on an unprotected wage strike for the past 2 weeks. They have now reduced their basic salary demand from 16,000 Rand to 12,500 Rand. Anglo Platinum Mine CEO Chris Griffith says the Lonmin Platinum Mine wage settlement should not be used as a benchmark.
Marikana and Lonmin were in a very different situation. I mean, there were 45 deaths. They needed to come to some sort of settlement. I think it's imperative for the rest of the industry now to put their foot down and say, look, we're not all in the same position. And it is very important for us as a mining industry to make sure that we can put back our processes into legal wage negotiations, that when we have strikes that they follow the normal labor dispute resolution process so that strikes are legal. In this case, all of these strikes are illegal.
Meanwhile, Transport Union Satawu says it will soon send out its shop stewards throughout Gauteng to monitor its strikes and prevent violence against non-striking truck drivers. An estimated 20,000 truck drivers are on strike countrywide after demanding a wage increase of 12% every year until 2014. Strikers have been targeting their colleagues on Gauteng's East Rand, with at least 17 incidents of violence reported in the past 2 days. The union has condemned the violence but is adamant that it's not responsible. Spokesperson Vincent Masoga.
As the union, we condemn all forms of violence that are now associated with the strike. We are certain that none of our members are getting involved into such activities because we are very clear we've been watchful of them as well. However, we are also looking at the situation right now so that if there is anybody else or any other criminal element that seeks to hijack this current industrial action, then we would have to cooperate with the law enforcement agencies about that.
ANC Treasurer General Matthew Posa says no person within the party's current leadership is guaranteed re-election. He was addressing an ANC fundraising event in Polokwane last night. The funds will be used to build an office building to honor the late ANC Youth League president Peter Makaba. Posa says the leadership battle will be decided by the ruling party's branches at the Mangaung conference.
This is the leadership. We are all leaders sitting here. Not a single one of us are reassured of re-elections in the next conference. And I want to show you now, none of us must be promised a second term. None. Comrades must assess each leader of the ANC. I'm not only talking about the top 6. Each one. And on the basis of a performance assessment, not willing to outsource our mandate, we will decide who the next leadership of the ANC will be.
And finally, President Jacob Zuma is pushing for dialogue in Mali as the only solution to lasting peace in the region. At a UN high-level meeting on the Greater Sahel region, President Zuma's views pitted him directly against other leaders, most notably French President François Hollande. The French leader is pushing for the Security Council to immediately consider a request from Mali's leaders to authorize the deployment of a stabilization force to recapture the north of the country. A leadership vacuum after a coup in March allowed Islamist rebels to occupy the north, President Zuma explains.
South Africa recognizes that the situation in Sahel is a daunting one. There is no doubt that the long-standing problems in the Sahel region have been exacerbated and complicated by the crisis in Libya and the proliferation of weapons in the region. The international community should not shirk its responsibility in assisting the people and governments of the region to deal with these challenges.
Catch the latest news anytime here on Newsbreak's Option 1.